Hello and welcome to Daily Current Affairs by Ekam IAS. Today is 27th of March 2019. The topics we are going to discuss is Chinook, International Energy Agency, Multidimensional Poverty Index, World Food Program, Map-aided program. We are continuing with the Straits of the world and the previous year question revision series. So coming to the first topic, Chinook. Chinook is in news because the Indian Air Force, IAF, they inducted like 4 Chinook CH-47F into their fleet. They are basically helicopters. They are inducted into their fleet. So Chinook will replace the Russian Mi-26. So that's a heavy lift class helicopter. So it will be replacing this Russian Mi-26, and it is actually an American helicopter. It is twin engined. It has a tandem motor and it's a heavy lift helicopter. Basically, I have a pic. See, it's a tandem motor. I'll tell you what it is. Okay. So basically, this is an advanced multi-mission helicopter. It is being used by US Army and all the international defense forces. They can use it. And it's fully integrated. They have a digital cockpit management system and they have like common aviation system also. So they have digital cockpit as well as a common aviation system. They can handle all this cargo capability, cargo handling things, and they can do all the aircraft mission performance. They can like have this characteristics of handling cargo as well as the aircraft mission. Okay, so that's a heavy lift thing. Then it doesn't have that conventional single rotor thing. The usual helicopter has a single conventional rotor. What happens is that 10% of the energy, the engine output goes to the tail rotor. The tail rotor is used to stabilize the helicopter. You'll be seeing helicopter has a tail and a rotor in the back. So 10% of the engine output will be going to this tail rotor in order to stabilize the helicopter. But in Chinook, it is using tandem rotors. So tandem rotors will stabilize the helicopter with all the engine power providing to lift. So you can save the engine power just to lift. Balancing thing doesn't need because tandem motors will be stabilizing the helicopter. So that's a positive thing. And the Chinook will be like providing 2 major capabilities to Army. One is to boost the artillery fire support. They'll do this. I have already discussed M777. It's a howitzer. So this howitzer can be transported using Chinook. So that is one function to boost the artillery fire support. The second thing is it can transport troops also. Like 50 soldiers can be inducted. 50 soldiers can be carried by Chinook. Okay. This is used for transportation of the troops as well as M777 howitzer. Okay, that's the importance of Chinook. So, if inducted into Indian Air Force, it will be a huge milestone for IAF because it will be it is a multi-purpose helicopter with full engine power efficiency. Okay. Now coming to the second topic, that's International Energy Agency. So, this institution is in news because India emitted around 2,300 million tons of carbon dioxide in last year, in 2018. That means it's like a 4.8%, near to 5% rise from the last year. Okay, this report was released by International Energy Agency. So, India's emission is growing every year. It is becoming polluting more than US and China because US is a prime polluter, followed by China. India comes third. But by seeing the statistics of 2018, India has become a higher polluter than United States and China. Okay, so this is due to the coal consumption in India. India's energy intensity improvement, it declined around 3% last year because the renewable energy installations, it increased. That's why it declined. Okay, not because we are stopping the coal production. Coal production is going in full-fledged. But since we are switching to renewable sources, it is the intensity improvement. It has some improvement, but still it declined. Okay. And this International Energy Agency, it's a Paris-based autonomous institution. It's an intergovernmental organization, means the governments of the member countries are taking the decisions. They are the members, and it is working under the framework of OECD. OECD is Organization of Economic Cooperation and Development. So this started in 1974 after this oil crisis of 1973, and they act like a policy advisor to all its member states. So even if you are not a member of International Energy Agency, still they'll support you or give you advices on various areas, because India is not a member, but still IEA works along with India also. If India needs a support, they'll support India. Okay, you don't have to be a member, even non-members can get this policy advices from IEA. Okay, so that's all you have to remember about IEA. It works under the aegis of OECD. You have to remember it. It's a Paris-based, it's an autonomous organization as well as it's an intergovernmental organization, and it was started in 1974. You have to remember India is not a member. So you may be finding India in the news related to IEA. So you may get confused because India is a member or not. You will have a confusion like that, but India is not a member. Okay. Now coming to the next topic, that's a multidimensional poverty index. Multidimensional poverty index is again in news because India reduced its poverty rate sharply from 55% to 28%. Some good news finally, right? So India they reduced the poverty rate from 55% to 28% in last 10 years. That is from 2005, 2006 to 2015, 2016 time period. Okay, so this we get to know by this multidimensional poverty index. Okay. So the index states that the poorest people in India, the poorest group in India are Muslims and scheduled tribes. Okay, and these groups have reduced poverty in last 10 years. Okay, and it also like multi-dimensional poverty index, it calculates this index for like 105 countries. Okay, and these 105 countries along like together will constitute 77% of the world's population. Okay, and out of this 77%, 23% of the people are multidimensionally poor. So what is multidimensionally poor? So if you take one dimension, they may be somewhat better, or in some dimension they will be very weak. So you have some indicators, you have some dimensions to calculate how poor people are. So basically it has calculations in individual level and in household level. So it has main three dimensions which has been calculated. One is health, one is education, and one is standard of living. Okay, they use this micro data from household surveys. They go to every house and take surveys. It's more efficient. Okay, so they take this household survey. There is another index called as Inequality Adjusted Human Development Index. Okay, you may be finding this in economics. Poverty and unemployment chapter, you may be encountering this particular terminology, that's Inequality Adjusted Human Development Index. So in this index, it's not the household surveys are taken, they are taking overall survey. But in multidimensional poverty index, they are going to every household and taking the survey. It's more efficient. Okay, and all these three dimensions are calculated from the same survey. It's not that you take education from one survey and standard of living from another survey. It doesn't work like that. Okay, you take one survey and you calculate the dimension from that survey only. Okay, and this multidimensional poverty index that been developed in 2010 by Oxford Poverty and Human Development Initiative. They are commonly called as OPHI. Okay, along with United Nations Development Program. So this replaces Human Poverty Index. It was Human Poverty Index before. It was not that efficient. You will not get a complete picture or a clear, precise idea about the poverty in a country. So they replaced it with multidimensional poverty index. Okay, so I told you three main key dimensions are there: health, nutrition, health, education and standard of living. Health is again divided into nutrition as well as child mortality. Okay, you will think you will calculate the nutrition level each person is getting and how much is the child mortality. And in education also you have you will calculate like the year of schooling as well as how much you are attentive, the attendance also. And in standard of living, it's not the income, it's about everything: the cooking fuel, the sanitation, drinking water facilities, then electricity availability, housing, assets of each person. Everything is calculated in order to understand the standard of living of a country. Okay, not just the income. Fine. So it is all like set to minimum international standards. So if there is a minimum international standard, there's a value. If it goes beyond that, below the value, it will be like multidimensionally poor people. If it goes above it, it's like okay. Fine. The next topic is World Food Program. World Food Program is in news because Japan gives UN World Food Program $69 million. Okay, it contributed $69 million, Japan. So that is why it is in news. So this is basically a humanitarian organization. What they do? They fight hunger all over the world. So they'll give food assistance, they'll improve the nutrition of people, they'll rehabilitate and give relief to the affected people, and they'll support for development and special operations. Okay, all the emergency, if there is any kind of emergency due to any natural calamity or any man-made calamity, if there is a shortage of food, if there is an epidemic, everything, they'll handle the food assistance, they'll handle emergency assistance. Okay, they'll be there working for the people affected by all the emergency issues. Okay, so that is why it's a very important organization, and it is established in 1961. After it was established in FAO conference actually. After 1960 FAO conference, it was decided that there should be a World Food Program. Okay. And this organization is governed by an executive board. The executive board has 36 members in it, and it also has two sister organizations. So it's Rome based, it has two sister organizations. One you already know, it's FAO, that's a Food and Agriculture Organization. Then one is IFAD, that's International Fund for Agricultural Development. Okay. Also, they have many partners, like 1,000 partners, more than 1,000 partners. They're like NGOs, from national and international NGOs. Okay, basically they provide food assistance and they fight for stopping hunger around the world. World Food Program is working in India since 1963. So they'll handle, they have been handling various issues like food distribution, and they also give technical assistance. So India is trying to attain self-sufficiency in cereal production. So World Food Program is helping India to achieve it. Okay, and also India has this midday meal program in schools. So what World Food Program is doing is they are providing micronutrient fortification in school meals so that the students get better nutrition. Okay, and also they are supporting the government's Poverty and Human Development Monitoring Agency. So they are giving help in technical assistance, and they are giving advices. They are helping formulate policies in order to fight hunger. Okay, now coming to map-aided program. I've been continuing with the Straits which we started yesterday. So today I am discussing Denmark Straits, Strait and Florida Strait. So first is Denmark Strait. So Denmark Strait, I already told you, strait is a water body which connects two large water body. It's between two land area. So Denmark Strait is also called as Greenland Strait. So it's an oceanic strait which connects Greenland and Iceland. Okay, so the strait connects Greenland Sea and Irminger Sea. Greenland Sea is a part of Arctic Ocean. It's an extension of Arctic Ocean. Irminger Sea is a part of Atlantic Ocean. So you can also say that the strait connects Arctic Ocean with Atlantic Ocean. Or to be precise or specific, Greenland Sea and Irminger Sea. So Denmark Strait, I'll show you the pic. See, there is Denmark Strait connecting Greenland and Iceland. Okay, and you can also see the Greenland Sea. Down there is Labrador Sea. You can see the Atlantic Ocean. Then, okay, the Arctic Ocean to the top. Arctic Ocean's extension is the Greenland Sea. Okay, fine. Coming to the next, that's a Florida Strait. Florida Strait or Straits of Florida or Florida Straits, they are to the south of the American mainland. So it connects US and Cuba. It's between US and Cuba, and it connects Gulf of Mexico to Atlantic Ocean. I'll show you the pic. Gulf of Mexico to Atlantic Ocean. Okay, you have Florida, that's part of US, and you have Cuba to the down. It's between Florida and Cuba, and Gulf of Mexico and Atlantic Ocean is getting connected through this strait. Fine. So I'll discuss two straits tomorrow as well, in the next class as well. So next is a previous year question revision series. I have the question, what does venture capital mean? I'll read the statements. A short-term capital provided to industries, a long-term startup capital provided to new entrepreneurs, funds provided to industries at the time of incurring losses, funds provided for replacement and renovation of industries. So what is a venture capital? Venture capital is basically financing startup companies which is starting it for the first time, small startup companies, small businesses which is believed to have a long-term growth potential. So they have a growth potential. If investment is made, it won't be a loss. So such kind of startups is being given capital by well-off investors or the investment banks or any other financial institution, basically for long-term growth, long-term capital. Okay, so these kind of capital is known as venture capital. It's basically financing in order to bring new entrepreneurs or startup companies or small businesses which have a great long-term growth potential. Okay, it's not always in the monetary form. Don't think that giving money is done. Okay, it's not always a monetary form. It can be a technical form or it can be a managerial form as well. Providing help for them to grow, a new company to grow, so that it will be like a great investment in future, a long-term investment. That is venture capital. So what will be the answer? The answer will be B, a long-term startup capital provided to new entrepreneurs. Okay, so this is basically a factual question. You don't have much scope of guessing. If you know what venture capital is, it's a very easy question. So that's all for today, guys. Thank you so much. Good night.